So I was emphasizing a lot, do what's in front of your face, because that's what you have to work with. So what is there in front of my face? And sometimes it'll be a belief being shown to me that I don't prefer, like I just said with the backpack, or while I was making this presentation. And I ask myself, am I invalidating what is there? Am I invalidating my circumstances? Instead of looking for a reason that they could be there, how they are serving me. You know, what potential growth is there? Have I not used up? Because like I said, once you use up all the growth in a situation, then it has no choice but to change. So when there is no more, as I said, there's no more growth, circumstances must change. Is something really missing? Or am I invalidating what is here? And the biggest example and realization that I had last weekend, because I struggled a lot with thinking that something's missing in order for me to choose being happy. And about 10 years ago, personal story, 10 years ago, I fell in love with this girl at university. And it was like the first time that's ever happened. And yeah, I was 22 years old, and didn't really know what was going on. She had kind of a boyfriend at the time. The relationship, though, was sort of dry. I can tell that it sort of expired, but she wasn't doing anything about it. And looking back, that's the reason I came into her life, to pull her out of that, I guess. I didn't know at the time. We're friends now. She has a couple kids, and she wouldn't be where she is now, happy with her kids, if I didn't come in there somewhere. Even though it didn't work out, I never really got to have a relationship with her, because over the summer, I told her she really needs to make a decision. And then when the summer was over, she didn't. And we just kept hanging out. And then, yeah, the feelings became more, and then she just sort of got confused and angry, and she just didn't want to see me. And that broke my heart. And that was really challenging and very painful, because I experienced this happiness that I'd never felt before, which was actually my own energy, my own choosing a state that I preferred, using her as a permission slip to do that. So I thought, if she's not there, no permission slip, can't choose it. And then during these 3 months, it was actually a very special time. First of all, I went for a walk when I was feeling troubled that one day, and I found this cat. His name is Gizmo, and I found him. He's a very small baby, and I brought him home and cleaned him up, and I took care of him, and I still have him now. Brought him with me to Germany, and I went out to Reiki share, and I met this gentleman that I knew I needed to speak with. I didn't know why, and I spoke with him, and he told me about this meetup group called the Spiritual Embodiment Collective. And so I went to this meetup at someone's house, and I met all these fascinating people with healing abilities, channeling abilities, and just into like metaphysics. And they introduced me to a teacher that I follow called Bashar as well. And so while I was looking at everything this week, and I kept having thoughts going back there, and being with those people was like having a family for the first time, because my parents didn't understand any of this, and they were also kind of judgmental because they weren't actually too happy together. It's nothing really bad, but it wasn't an open environment to choose your natural state all the time. So I felt these people were like my family, and I experienced so many new and exciting things. But the whole time I was using them to get information or to understand the law of attraction in order to be with this person. and sort of invalidating what was there. I mean, I enjoyed it on some level, but not as much as I could have. And looking back on that, I realized that that's what I needed. That was what I needed for my growth. Because there are realities where I did experience this relationship, there are realities that I didn't. I experienced the ones that were most prevalent for my growth. And looking back, that feels very right to me, because I can see, I still have relationships with some of those people. I had this sort of family experience. I was introduced to a teacher. I had this cat that I now have, for a good part of my life. And it has everything to do with everything I have become that I'm doing now. And then I imagine, what if I did have a relationship with her? I wouldn't have experienced all that. I might have had some fun times with her doing some things, and that would have been great. But if I'm honest, I'm sure not too far. We got in some fight, and she'd probably threaten to break up, and I would be like, oh no, and then don't do that. You're my permission slip. But looking back, I got so much growth from that experience. Everything was so new, and those people and the teachings and what I've learned, it's so much more than I could have ever gotten from that experience. However, she still had a part to play in leading me to that and starting me on this search. So it served both of us. So now I think when I'm experiencing a situation, that if nothing was missing back then, when it seemed like something was missing the most, then nothing can be missing now. And that's just my personal example to sort of prove to myself that this works for me, that it's in alignment. And it's up to you to look at your own lives and come to your own realizations that work for you. But that was a big one for me, and that happened just this week. So now I'm looking at everything that really nothing, because when you have a sense that nothing is missing, then you really feel at home with yourself. You really feel you have everything that you need. And so now I have those memories and those thoughts and concepts that I'm working with. I may not be 100% there, but I'm a lot more than I was before, and I'm going to keep going and look at everything that works up, that comes up, and yeah, it'll probably end up being in another presentation. I don't know. I'll continue doing this as long as I feel it's for my growth that I need to. So, if I revert back to my presentation, see if I can circle this up. So choose the state you prefer and act from that state. So it's very important. The state you choose will resonate with certain things and draw your attention to what you have been choosing by reflections and your experiences. So please look at them in order to give you an opportunity to be sure you're choosing the state you prefer. It's also a self-correcting mechanism, this reflection. It just reflects back to you what you're choosing and shows you. And it says, in a way, is this what you prefer? This is what you've been choosing. If not, choose something else. If you feel like you can't help choosing what you're choosing, look at why you're choosing. And to go actually in depth and to ask yourself these questions. So choose the state you prefer, act on what is in front of you in that state that resonates, let go of insistences, assumptions, and definitions that impede the joyful experience of your growth and the becoming of your full person in as many ways as possible. Because that's what this is all about, and it can really be a fun ride. It's what I'm discovering more and more. Any questions? Because this is about it.